Hi friends, this is Tasha Rose with Radical Mothering. I just wanted to do a fast video today to talk to you guys about how we do math. So when it comes to math, I'm not a big fan actually of how Waldorf does math. It doesn't, I don't know, there's just something about it that I don't really appreciate. I like a little bit more hands-on and less storytelling about it. It just makes a little bit more sense to me. That said, we use Fred Math, which is literature based, and we infuse Waldorf into it. So if that makes any sense. We do have little math gnomes that I made myself. That's just to introduce the 4 processes. But largely we don't do math the way that Waldorf does. So right now, Deggery is just doing some review work using kidneys, and Gabriel is starting with apples, and I'll show you what he did for his lesson today. He just did lesson 1 in Fred, and so what we do is we read the story and go through the whole story and all the pictures, and we talk about the story along the way, and then we get to the your turn to play. And this is where, if your child is already reading full sentences and writing independently, then they can do this themselves. But I'll read the questions to Gabriel, and then he'll answer them. And it's just verbal for us. So then he'll answer them, and then we'll take a picture from the story, or we'll draw a picture from the story. And so this is in my book. We picked 7 trees because one of the questions is regards trees. One of them is pencils, and one of them is trees, and so we went with the trees, and the answer to all of the sums was 7. So that's how we did it, and translated it into Waldorf and put it into our main lesson books. And then I'll show you Gabriel's. He got a little frustrated with his picture and that he had to write on his trees, but he got over it, and then we had to use a white crayon to try to erase the mistakes that he made. So he wrote his 2 + 5 = 7, 5 + 2 = 7, 4 + 3 = 7, 3 + 4 = 7. We would have done 6 + 1, but the 6 + 1 was not within the story as a question in the Fred book. It was in the story itself, but not as part of the questions that were asked. So that's basically how we do it. And then Deggery will do his Fred work, and we supplement with some worksheets for him too. He'll just do 1 worksheet a day, and that's it, and we're good with his math. And if he doesn't understand the concept, then we go over what the concept is. But then both of the children, the bigger boys, are using a chalkboard, and I'm looking for bigger chalkboards actually for them to do work on, but I have these small simple chalkboards, and they, this morning it was just some review work for him, some simple multiplication, 23 times 9, or 17 times 8, or whatever it was, whatever the questions were in his book, and he wrote those out and solved them here, and that was it, and then we were done. And he doesn't actually, unless we're talking about a new concept, he won't put it in his main lesson book. So he won't do this work from today in his main lesson book. But if it's a new concept, to hone what the concept is, he'll do something in his main lesson book. And I don't have an example right now because his main lesson book is not, doesn't have a math lesson in it yet. So that's it. That's how we do math. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Oh, and for the little kids, we just do manipulatives and such. Like today, Liliana did some sorting into an egg carton. Deggery, will you go grab me the egg carton really quick? It's in the classroom. And then with Fred, I should point this out too. With Fred, he talks about the time in his stories, and so we bring out the clock. And when it was, let's see, in the story it was 5 a.m. when Fred woke up. Oops, this is off a little bit. It was 5 a.m. when Fred woke up, and then he had to wait. He wanted to sleep for 2 more hours and get up and run at 7. So we demonstrate that on the clock face too, so they get the idea of this is how time progresses, and 5 plus 2 is 7, and that's kind of how the whole 5 plus 2 is 7. It's up on the math shelf. The basket of numbers is on top of it. And so that's how that was introduced in the story this morning. And then the littles will just do various manipulative things. Like today, Henri did number matching. So we've got wooden number forms and several sets of them. And he would match, okay, this is a 1 and this is a 1. And then Liliana did this sorting game, numbers 1 through 12 in the egg carton, and then just putting dry garbanzo beans, like, you know, if it's number 1, we put 1 in, if it's 2, we put 2 in, etc. So it's just simple things like that. And then there's a new book that I got, and I'll probably do a review on it, that this actually came out of. I mean, this isn't a new concept by any stretch of the imagination, but it came out of the book that I'm using. I think it's called Family Math, but I'll look at it. I'm going to do a review on it, but I just actually recently picked it up from someone, and I really like it so far, and I'm going to use a lot of the concepts in it for the younger children, not so much the older children. So, and then later today, we're going to go grocery shopping, so they'll get to use, Diggory especially, will get to use some real world math and talk about price and cost and totals and stuff like that. So that's kind of how we employ math at home. If any questions, drop them in the comments, like the video, subscribe, and share if you would. I just got over 400 for my subscription, and of course I've got my giveaway going from once I get to 700 subscribers. So share away, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.